It is emerging tonight that Kenya requires billions of shillings in funding to resolve climate-related challenges that the country has been grappling with for years, amongst them drought and flooding. So in the second part of the climate crisis feature tonight, Maryanne Nyambura focuses on the basic needs and food security threats brought about by the swelling of the Rift Valley lakes and mitigation measures that Kenya can implement as its disaster recovery plan.
Sasa kila kitu kikakuwa collapse wakati hiyo machi ilikuja. Maisha ikakuwa kama saide ndio yani umeingia tu mahali hata uchielewi, unasikia tu ni simu ifunguke, uingie ujifunike.
Loss, agony, painful adjustments. This is what constantly dominates Alice Kerubo's mind since September 2020, when her two-bedroomed house was marooned in water. As the water levels at the nearby Lake Nakuru rose to extraordinary levels. Alice says that she has never witnessed such a disaster of epic proportions for the 9 years that she has called Mwariki in Nakuru West her home. And as a typical example of falling from grace to grass, she went from living in a permanent structure to putting up in a makeshift structure. Life has indeed shifted dramatically, and she struggles to make sense of it all.
Nilisema mtu nimepaki na yeye, si hata jirani. Nimepaki na Mungu. Na mtu sasa zingine anakuona, unaona vile vitu unasiona vile siku hivi. Hata wewe unaona kama ni chokora umeana kwa pombe. Kuna mtu atakutaka kukuona hivyo. Unachikalisa peke yangu na uchokora yangu.
Life's twists and turns have also made 35-year-old Baringo resident Lona Lemartano a reluctant fish vendor. She has to make ends meet, but she confesses that this source of livelihood cannot sustain her as compared to her previous farming role.
Sababu sasa tunasata lima shamba usonge kidogo, kalime shamba. Tena ndio hiyo sasa inakuja. Maji tu ya bahari, na unajua maji ya bahari haiendi kama hii maji ya mto. Maji ya bahari ni silent killer. Inaenda tu kidogo, inaingililia chini, kesho unaona basa unabaki na hasara.
It is a plight that is shared by 150 internally displaced persons who relocated to this IDP camp in Baringo South in June 2020.
Sasa watashiba.
Access to basic needs such as food, clean water, and clothing has become an uphill task. 48-year-old Florida Tagila, a mother of 7, says life has truly become unbearable.
Hapa vile tunaishi tunaona ni ngumu sana. Juu sasa hakuna chakula.
This family of 7 has been living in this makeshift structure for 1 year, 5 months. Building a permanent structure is too big a risk for them, owing to the unpredictable weather patterns. Rainfall, which is considered a blessing, universally seems like a curse in this region.
Ikinyesha na sasumbua sisi kabisa mpaka hata tunasaingia tu kwa majirani kukaa na ake kusuia hata watoto. Juu hata tukai kwa ndani tunaasa tufumulia kidogo, lakini kuna saidi atukai.
3/4 location walikuja hapa. Sasa wale watu walibaki hapa kisati, wale watu wengi walikuwa na watu yao walienda kutafuta mahali ya kuishi, wengine wakajununua.
For these families, their world is very sensitive to the vagaries of the weather, and one can ask if they are bearing the brunt of a much bigger global issue. A report by a multi-agency team formed last year revealed that Lake Baringo was one of the worst affected lakes in the Rift Valley. An estimated 379,935 people now require humanitarian assistance across the country. The report also revealed that the probable cause of the rise in water levels is climate change. Evidence is provided by the level of rainfall in the catchment areas. Other factors include land degradation due to increased human activity, geological and tectonic changes. Some of the recommendations in the report categorized as immediate, short and long-term interventions include humanitarian assistance to the affected groups through the distribution of food and non-food items, incentives and cash transfers. That the government should create awareness on climate change. It should also consider buying the affected areas to create buffer zones. That the government should partner with UNDP to mobilize resources. Every day, thousands of families who continue to bear the brunt of extreme weather and climate-related events hope that these waters would recede and that they'd go back to their homes. Though research scientists say that that may take time, if at all it happens, the victims say the lessons learned are too costly. And so the question that begs is no longer if action will be taken, but when that will be. For these internally displaced Kenyans, the effects go far beyond their control, with studies showing that African countries continue to bear the brunt of the effects of climate change, even though it has contributed the least to the crisis. Maryanne Nyambura, Citizen TV.